Good evening, Tiger fans. We have 41 Clemson sporting events since our last show, so let's get right to it.
Head first with tennis going old school. Not necessarily good news. I apologize. We're starting our first show in 2 weeks on a bad note, but that's just how the ball bounces on the tennis court. Our men's tennis team is currently on a 7-match losing streak. The last 4 of those losses have been in the last 2 weeks in which we haven't had a show. They have lost 4 matches to South Carolina, Florida State, Wake Forest, and NC State by a combined score. I'm not good at math, so don't trust me on this. A combined score of 23-4, which is not good. They lost at South Carolina 6-0, at Florida State 6-1, home against Wake Forest 6-1, and home against. But hopefully they'll get back on the winning streak. They play at Virginia Tech and Blacksburg this Friday. Won in the matches that they played since our last show. We got wins at home against Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt, Marshall, and College of Charleston, with their only loss being a road loss against Syracuse. That was 4-3 on St. Patrick's Day, so a close match there. They'll be back in action in Raleigh against the Lady Wolf Pack this Friday, March 31st.
Well, there's also been loads of baseball since we've last had a show. We're going to back up all the way to March 14th when Clemson's Chris Williams hit a 3-run homer to win the Tigers' first of 2 meetings with Yale at home, 10-6. The Tigers scored 3 runs in the first inning, highlighted by Seth, 2 added another run for the Tigers after that. Yale right before Williams' incredible 3-run homer in the 7th. He earned his first relief. There was a single, 3 walks, no runs, and 5 strikeouts. The next day, the Tigers topped the Bulldogs 10-8. Yale had a huge 4th inning, scoring 5 runs on 2 singles, 4 walks, a hit by pitch, and a catcher interference. However, Clemson responded well with a few runs late from Beer and Williams. The Tigers hosted the Cavaliers of number 11 UVA Friday the 17th. It was a pretty slow game. Virginia didn't advance a runner past first base until the 7th inning, but that streak for the Cavs ended with a homer on a 3-1 pitch. Virginia earned a 2nd run in the 9th to seal the win 2-0. This time, Clemson scored 6 runs in the first inning, the most runs in a Clemson first inning since 2010. Williams had the 7th run of the game. Virginia kept it close, scoring 6 runs. The Tigers won the game 7-6 and won the series. Senior Pat Prowl allowed just 1 run in 7 innings pitched. He threw a 25 pitch strikes on the first pitch out of 29 batters faced. The Tigers had 14 hits that resulted in 12 runs scored. That's some serious offense. Clemson scored in every inning except the 2nd. Green, Cox, and Davidson each had 3 hits to lead the Tigers. Clemson won the game 12-1 and won the series for the first time against UVA since 2000.
Charleston Cougars over spring break and defeated them 8-4. Chris Williams had 2 home runs while Logan Davidson and the game featured the return of Clemson's head coach, Monty Lee, who was actually a player and the head. In the Boston College Series last week, senior left-hander Pat Prowl pitched 7 scoreless innings in Clemson's 2-0 win over the Eagles to sweep the 3-game series Sunday afternoon. This is the Tigers' 6th win in a row, as well as their 15th away game in a row that they have won. Clemson's record is now 20-4 overall and 8-1 in the ACC. Prowl earned the win by only allowing 7 hits, no runs, no walks, with 3 strikeouts. Riley Gilliam relieved Prowl and pitched the final inning to record his save of the year. Clemson only gave up 0 runs in the last 19 innings. Prowl was actually drafted by the St. Louis Cardinals last year, decided to return to Clemson and to come back for his last year of playing eligibility for the Tigers. Sophomore Alex Eubanks was named ACC Pitcher of the Week after his 3-hit shutout against Boston College. In the 9 innings he pitched, he only allowed 3 singles, no runs, no walks, with a career high of 10 strikeouts. Clemson is now ranked 5th in the Baseball America polls, 6th in the Collegiate Baseball polls, and 5th in the USA Today polls. This is the highest the baseball team has been when they were ranked number 4. This also marks the 14th week in a row that they're ranked in the top. Tonight is Military Appreciation Night for the Tigers as they take on Furman in about 10 minutes. Clemson will play Winthrop.
And those games will be at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. In other sports news, the men's golf team has been busy. They won the Furman Invitational this past weekend, which was in Greenville, hosted by the Paladins. They came in first out of 21 teams, and they didn't just win, they blew everybody out. They won by 14 strokes, which in golf is a lot. As a team, they finished at negative 29 under. Your individual overall winner was a Tiger. Carson Young finished at 11 under to win the individual rankings by a stroke. The win at the Furman Invitational moved the Clemson men's golf team from 21st to 14th in the NCAA golf rankings. Clemson Invitational starting Friday falls. The women's golf team finished 5th out of 13 teams in the Gator Invitational. It was their 4th top 5 finish, this 14th overall in the individual rankings. They individual performance by any Clemson Lady Tiger golfer. They followed that up with a 7th place finish out of 15 teams at the LSU Tiger Golf Classic. Guess who hosted that one? Kennedy Swan, a freshman, finished 11th overall in the individual rankings. That was the best performance by Clemson Lady Tiger at that event. They host their Clemson Invitational this weekend at the Reserve at Kiowee.
So the last time we talked about men's basketball, they had just defeated NC State in the first round of the ACC tournament. The next day, Wednesday, they lost to eventual champion Duke 72-79. Both teams had trouble shooting the three. Clemson was 4 for 16 from 21. The Tigers, however, made an incredible 24 of their 26 free throw attempts. Percentage at before. John Blossomgame finished his ACC tournament career with a 19-point and 8-rebound effort. He became just the 6th player in Clemson. Shelton Mitchell, Marquise Reed, and Sidi Jete all scored in double figures for the Tigers. The next week, Clemson hosted the Oakland Golden Grizzlies in the NIT at Little John. There's not a whole lot to be said about this game. Clemson ended the half on a 20-2 run. I don't know if they just stopped trying, but Clemson's offense went ice cold in the second half, and it appeared Oakland wanted the win more than our Tigers did. They lost 69-74 and finished the season with a 17-16 record. After the game, Coach Brownell had this to say: "I'm disappointed and I feel really bad and really well in a lot of ways. It's fitting for Jerron to finish his career with 24 points and 8 rebounds. It's also fitting for City. Disappointed for them, and obviously we let a great opportunity to play more big games get away from us in the second half."
And a little bit more basketball news, just real fast. After that game, a lot of Tiger basketball fans wanted Brad Brownell fired. He actually had a meeting with athletic director Dan Radakovich. No news about being fired yet. We are expected to have Brownell back to coach next year. Probably a decision will be rendered after that.
And they asked for lots of changes. So
Yes.
what kind of changes we have?
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. One more year. You got this, Brad.
So in track and field news, the team was extremely busy over spring break. Won both the 4x100. The women's was combined for a first and second place finish in the relays. Earned a total of 3 of the Charlotte 49er Classic. Our track team also headed to Coral Gables, Florida to compete in the Hurricane Collegiate Invitational during break as well. Jeffrey Green, who's from Miami, won the 400, and the Clemson men swept the top 3 spots in the 800. Olivia James finished second in the women's 400 with a time of 53.29 seconds. Ursula Farrow came back again, ran the top collegiate time in the women's 800 meter with a time of 2 minutes and 6 seconds.
That girl's fast.
She's insane. Outdoor schedule this weekend in Stanford.
First news for your sport we haven't talked about is rowing. The women's team kicked off their spring season here in the last 2 weeks. Oak Ridge, Tennessee. That was Saturday, March the 11th. The first day of that, I guess you call it a tournament, invitational. I don't really know what you call a rowing event. They had 1 victory and 3 runners-up in the events on the first day. They picked up wins in the 4- and 8-person crew races the next day, so on Sunday. So I guess on Saturday they had the 1 victory, 3 runners-up. Good performances all around by all the varsity teams. Head coach Stephen Fraser Wong said, quote, "All of our boats made improvements each of the 3 rounds of racing this weekend. I'm encouraged by the competitiveness between our own boats, as it means that each person will stay hungry to fight for a spot in the lineups," unquote. They followed that up with a 2nd place finish in the Carolina event. They finished 3rd. Duke ended up winning the event with an overall score of 99. Our Lady Tigers came in 2nd with 87, 72. The rowing team will return to April Fool's Day against Columbia and Princeton in Leonia, New Jersey. So some smart competition for them.
We have some exciting exciting news and some sad for others. Clemson Athletics announced a few weeks ago that they'll be creating a softball program to replace the women's diving team. The diving team was at a disadvantage at meets because scoring is done using the swimming team score as well, which Clemson doesn't have. This is sad for our current divers, but if they choose to stick around, they will receive their financial aid they were promised.
Oh, that's good news.
The athletic department says softball is a popular sport for girls in South Carolina and that they anticipate softball bringing even more. Is probably the 2020 season as of now. They have to build a stadium, and so this happens to line up with the expected launch. That's strategic.
And it's actually pretty sad too. Rumor has it that the diving team actually didn't even find out that they weren't going to be, or that they were getting replaced by the softball team when everybody else did today. So
breaking news, everybody knows now.
Pretty heartbreaking.
That's all right though. Softball, they're expecting to do pretty well around here. We got some pretty big baseball fans. Our baseball team obviously pretty successful right now, so hopefully softball will follow in their footsteps and see some success on the diamond.
So in football news, our Tigers are in full swing. The football team is in their 4th week of spring practice, and after a long spring break, Kelly Bryant has claimed the starting quarterback position for the spring game next weekend. Trying to stay consistent and make the most out of this opportunity that he has been given. Bryant completed 81 yards, including a 39er to our receiver Hunter Renfro. Dabo also told the media that both freshman quarterbacks are beginning to look more comfortable on the field with our offense. Early enrollee Balin Spector had a pick 6 in the scrimmage yesterday as well. There still seems to be quite a few competitions between players for the starting positions at the spring game next Saturday, so be on the lookout for that.
That spring game, like Ashley said, will be next Saturday. That's April the 8th. Kicks off at 2:30 p.m., so we definitely want to see you in Death Valley for the first football game of the season. Long episode tonight. We had a lot of content for you, so we don't have a final Prowl segment, so that's all for us this week. Be sure to catch they come baseball game, so if you don't over it, more. That's all we got for you this week, and go Tigers.